Very good evening and Assalamu alaikum to all of you. I am Rahman, the Media Relations and Publicity Secretary of TESOL Society of Bangladesh, and I welcome you all to the inaugural program of the English for Academic Purpose and English for Specific Purpose Special Interest Group of TESOL Society of Bangladesh. TESOL Society of Bangladesh is a registered organization for ELT practitioners which started its journey in 2014. TESOL BD EAP ESP SIG is one of the special interest groups of TESOL Society of Bangladesh, dedicated to create the biggest community of EAP and ESP practitioners in Bangladesh. The EAP ESP SIG aspires to create a network of EAP ESP practitioners where we can collaborate in research, practice, and development. I would like to request A.M. Rahman to play the promotional video of our SIG at this point of time. Please play our video. TESOL BD EAP ESP SIG is one of the special interest groups of TESOL Society of Bangladesh, a registered association of ELT practitioners, applied linguists, and English teachers operating along all levels of education. Our EAP ESP SIG is dedicated to create the biggest community of EAP and ESP practitioners in Bangladesh through collaboration in research, practice, and development.
English for Specific Purposes, ESP, is a special branch of ELT where there is the practice of learning-centered approach. ESP harmonizes both the academic and future professional needs of the learners with English language proficiencies. Needs-based tailor-made courses, authentic materials, and application of andragogies made ESP so effective in English language teaching for the domain-specific learners. Through our SIG, we aspire to share and support the practitioners in research, practice, and development.
EAP has been an integral part of our academic curriculum. However, at the tertiary level, our EAP practitioners have been facing a lot of problems and challenges, as for example, repetitive overlapping courses, lack of proper teacher training, lack of appropriate materials, and also lack of innovation add to some of these challenges. Our SIG aims to focus on some of these challenges and try to bring meaningful changes in the EAP practice of the country.
The mission of our SIG is to build community, conduct credible research, introduce innovation in teaching and learning in the field of EAP and ESP, and provide training for the EAP and ESP practitioners to optimize the learning outcome.
We intend to revolutionize the teaching and learning of EAP and ESP in Bangladesh. So join us in the revolution.
Okay, thank you so much, A.M. Rahman. So we are going to move on with the next schedule of the program. And first, today we would like to convey our earnest gratitude to our honorable chief guest, Dr. Manjit Kaur Mehar Singh, Associate Professor and Deputy Dean of Research, Innovation and Industry Community Engagement at the School of Languages, Literacies and Translation, Universiti Sains, Malaysia. And as our special guest, we have with us eminent ELT scholar, Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman, Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Daffodil International University, Bangladesh. Today, our today's program is divided into two parts. First part is the inaugural session. I would like to invite Mr. Hamidul Haq, Vice President and SIG Coordinator, TESOL Society of Bangladesh, and Assistant Professor and the Head of the Department of English, American International University, Bangladesh, to deliver his welcome speech and to inaugurate the SIG. Sir, the floor is now yours.
Dr. Manjit Kaur, today's chief guest, Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman, our special guest today, my dear colleagues, students, and dear audience. A very good evening from TESOL Society of Bangladesh. I will welcome you today's inaugural session of TESOL BD EAP ESP SIG. Our president, Professor Dr. Saidur Rahman, could not join us because of his family commitments, but he has sent his blessings for all of us. The EAP ESP courses actually proliferated during mid-90s in Bangladesh with the advent of private universities. Private universities in Bangladesh mostly focus on English medium programs that are offered through English medium programs, but most of their students come from Bangla mediums. I mean, we have largest number of students attending schools in Bangla medium. Though there are English versions in the national curriculum, there are A-levels and O-level students, but their numbers are not significant. So advent of the private universities, I mean, as they offered English medium instruction, suddenly there was a need felt that these students who join from Bangla medium to English medium tertiary education, they need kind of transition as they attend their courses, programs in English. So there were a number of courses designed for them. Almost in all programs, in all private universities, we see that these EAP courses are very common. They're commonly known as English 101, English 102, and various other names are there. So these are very common, we have seen since mid-90s. So there is a thriving EAP community in Bangladesh, and obviously, I mean, they need help. We mentioned this in our previous inaugural sessions of SIGs, that TESOL Society of Bangladesh aims to cater the needs of ELT practitioners at all levels of education, including elementary, secondary, higher secondary, and tertiary level. So I actually see that the inauguration of this TESOL BD EAP SIG is actually the effort towards addressing these needs of EAP practitioners. I must also mention the ESP courses. Yeah, with the advent of the private universities again, as private universities are industry focused, at some point they felt that the graduates needs to be proficient in English, particularly in their profession, whether they're engineering graduates, business graduates, or whether they work in NGOs or some other sectors. So yeah, ESP courses are also not very uncommon nowadays. Though EAP courses are very common, ESP courses are coming up day by day. So this is actually thriving community, as already mentioned, and we actually aspire to bring the faculty members from different private universities and also public universities. Public universities also offer some functional English courses. I think in most of the cases. So this is a welcome addition of TESOL Society of Bangladesh. I mean, like other SIGs, we have started our journey last year as a registered organization, though actually we had initiated this organization back in 2014, but last year we actually was recognized as a government institution. So this year we have initiated 5 SIGs to cater the needs of ELT professionals in our country, and this is the one that will cater the needs of tertiary education. On behalf of the President and the TESOL Society of Bangladesh, I welcome you to join us in this TESOL BD EAP ESP SIG. Best of luck and best wishes to this SIG. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for contextualizing EAP and ESP in Bangladesh and also wishing us best of luck. And we are here because of your relentless support. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Lisa Sherman, convener, TESOL BD EAP ESP SIG, and Associate Professor in English and Head of the Department of English, Daffodil International University, to introduce the SIG. Lisa Sherman, ma'am, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Deepti. Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening. As a convener, I welcome all of you to the inaugural ceremony of EAP ESP SIG TESOL Society of Bangladesh. It's my proud privilege to introduce and welcome our chief guest, Dr. Manjit Kaur, Associate Professor and Deputy Dean, Research, Innovation and Industry Community Engagement, Universiti, Sains, Malaysia, and our special guest, Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman, Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Social Science, Daffodil International University of Bangladesh. My heartfelt thanks and gratitude to both of you. Now, a glimpse about the SIG. After its emergence in 2014, TESOL BD is dedicatedly working for the development of English teachers of all levels. Recently introduced 5 special interest groups holistically cover from KG to PG levels of education and research. Among all, with your blessings and the best wishes, the EAP ESP SIG is officially starting its journey today. Our platform will be dedicated for intellectual planning, innovative practice, application of andragogies, knowledge creating, research, etc. We here have 2 entities actually. One is EAP and one is ESP. Let me highlight the ESP issue connected to our SIG. As you know, English for Specific Purposes is a special branch of ELT which promotes learning-centered approach to teaching English as a foreign language. The ultimate target is to focus on developing communicative competence in domain-specific learners like business administration, computer science and engineering, law, architecture, civil engineering, etc. ESP actually bridges both the academic and future professional needs of the learners with English language proficiencies. ESP essentially concentrates more on language in context. Now the relevant question comes as why ESP? Actually, after 12 years of acquaintance with English language at primary, secondary, and higher secondary levels, students are expected to have a very sound proficiency of English language. If they fail to develop such, they really need a special arrangement. 1 or 2 English language courses, as Hamid sir says, are mandatory for all the first-year students of all public and private universities. Repetitive EGP courses really cannot help them much. Needs-based, tailor-made courses, context-related materials, activity-based innovative teaching, and assessment are actually indispensable to equip these learners with essential language skills. Now, a little bit about the prospects. ESP ensures language learning. Actually, a rigorous analysis of needs, setting of goals and objectives, specific design of syllabus, development of authentic materials, effective teaching, and intensive assessment are the strength of ESP. A single practitioner does everything. Thus, teaching becomes more intensive. A bit about the challenges here. The practitioners of the course needs to do everything. That means from needs analysis to teaching. Thus, it is very research-worthy and a very time-consuming project. Even a design course for a particular batch of learners will not be appropriate for the next batch. Thus, teacher in ESP must be adequately planned, comprising outcome-based, versatile, and research-based mindset. Through this SIG, we desire to share and support the practitioners of ESP in research, practice, and development as a whole. We aim at representing professionals and practitioners in ESP from Bangladesh. The mission of our SIG will be to disseminate constructive practice in ESP as well as EAP, EOP, EPP through our membership, and to promote models of excellence in ESP and ELT professionals in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa Sherman ma'am, for a wonderful introduction to the SIG and also sharing your vision and mission with us. And at this point of time, I would like to invite the co-convener of TESOL BD EAP ESP SIG, Dr. Fahim Hassan Shahed, Associate Professor and Coordinator of MA in TESOL program at BRAC Institute of Languages in BRAC University, to talk about the challenges and prospects of EAP in Bangladesh and the role of this particular SIG in the development of practitioners.
Okay, thank you so much. I think I can be heard. It's okay. So thank you so much. Welcome all of you to this very wonderful occasion today. Respected Chief Guest, Dr. Manjit Kaur, Special Guest, Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman, dear colleagues of TESOL Society of Bangladesh, and dear participants of today's event. Well, if I have to talk about this EAP issue in brief, so Hamid sir will actually come up with a vast canvas on this issue. Let me just tell you some words. Bangladesh actually comprises one of the largest populations in non-native English sphere who learn English through formal education. Though English is acknowledged as a compulsory subject to study from class 1 to class 12 in the national curriculum, students actually display a sort of resentment motivation towards learning English because of the nature of English, which is taught without any identifiable need. In 1981, Abbott actually termed this phenomena as tenor, T-E-N-O-R, the teaching of English for no obvious reason. Bangladeshi learners traditionally struggle with English language skills, so much so that even after 12 years of schooling and 4 years of tertiary education, most of the learners fail to equip themselves with necessary adequate English language skills. When Bangladeshis leave their educational institutions and enter their professional lives, maybe it can be in the either working for someone else or proceeding with their own business, they realize the urgency of being proficient in English. So the questions arise, what happens when adults decide to enhance their ability in improving their English language skills? If the process is difficult for them, what are the factors that support their learning process, which might compensate for their unsuccessful language learning throughout their school lives? It is in this backdrop that the importance of English for academic purpose remains very crucial. Amid the presence of numerous factors, the value of EAP in our educational setting has gained prominence. Our overall EAP settings prove that students who are efficient in English actively participate in classes, while less and least efficient students are not interested in getting involved in any kind of language learning. Some teachers are interested and find it challenging to teach language to multidisciplinary students, while other teachers may have reverse attitude. EAP teaching is not successful in Bangladesh as students are not motivated and teachers cannot contextualize language teaching according to the different disciplines. Thus, our special interest group is committed to address all sorts of issues like this and play a constructive role in enhancing EAP teaching in Bangladesh. Our coverage of ESP as well as EAP as a whole includes not only the teaching of this area of ELT, but also teacher training and materials design. Therefore, our main objectives are: number one, to promote localization in ESP and EAP, that is to localize the global practices in a very effective manner. Number two, organize a platform of support for Bangladeshi ESP EAP practitioners. Number three, support individual or organizational ESP EAP projects. Number four, link and unite ESP EAP professionals in different educational sectors. Number five, arrange regular workshops, symposiums, discussion events for upgrading ESP EAP practices. Number six, assist ESP EAP teachers as regards syllabus design, materials development, teaching strategies, and so on. Then the next point, 7, collaborate with the activities of other special interest groups in TESOL Society of Bangladesh for better synergies. And number 8, organized joint events with organizations of similar interest and similar profile. So by joining our special interest group, we expect all of you, especially the students, to become an active member of this SIG. And how will you do that? You can do that by attending and presenting at our seminars and workshops, by joining in conversations on the social media, especially in our Facebook page, by suggesting and helping to organize SIG events in your local areas, in your local capacities, and obviously also by helping to recruit new SIG members. So let this event be the golden beginning of our promising plan of actions with the wholehearted help and support of all of you. And thank you so much once again for joining our journey today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And what a beautiful way to enumerate all of the things the SIG is going to do. And also you have explained the prospect of the students as well, along with the teachers. And we're very excited to see the golden journey of this EAP ESP SIG. And I have on another note, the General Secretary of TESOL Society of Bangladesh, Dr. Saida Farzana Hafsa, has joined us. So I'd like her to say a few words to this inaugural session. Dr. Saida Farzana Hafsa.
Oh, thank you very much, Dipti, for though I mean I was not ready at all. I was not prepared to say anything. I have been very sick for several days, still recovering. I would like to welcome you all and to our special interest group as well as TESOL Society of Bangladesh. And I would like to congratulate our special interest group, EAP and ESP special interest group, for organizing this and for on their inauguration. And yeah, I'm very excited and very inspired by what I have heard so far, the kind of things that they would like to do, and the way they would like to support the ELT practitioners in Bangladesh, and the background information that they have provided. So I'm really excited, and I am confident that they are going to have some really meaningful contribution in the field. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. I would like to say that we're really delighted to have our General Secretary with us today as well. And with this, we have come to the conclusion of the first part of our program, and we're going to move on to the next part of the program now. And now we have a very engaging and interesting session from Dr. Manjit Kaur titled ESP and EAP in Malaysian Higher Education Institute. And this session will be moderated by Dr. Lisa Sherman. Dr. Lisa Sherman, I think you need to unmute your mic.
Thank you
Dr.
very
Lisa, yes.
much, Dipti Rahman. It's the wonderful and attractive part we are going to start right now. And on the outside, I'd like to introduce our speaker with her bio. Our chief speaker, Dr. Manjit Kaur,
We can't hear, I think, sound problem.
Well, Lisa Sherman, ma'am, are you having any technical difficulties? Lisa Sherman, ma'am?
yes.
Yes, you're back. Okay,
Am I
ma'am.
audible
Yes,
now?
yes, you are audible, ma'am.
Okay.
Please continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to start introducing our chief guest, Dr. Manjit, Dean of Research, Innovation, Masters in Education, TESOL, and PhD specializing in academic literacies and international students at University of Sains, Malaysia.
Lisa Sherman, ma'am, your mic is muted, I guess, though you're saying we cannot hear. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I think you can start from the beginning again. We had some technical glitches, so it was difficult for the audience to hear you.
Okay, am I audible right now?
Yes, you are.
Dipti?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
I don't know.
Okay. Should I? Okay. I guess Lisa Sherman ma'am is having a little bit of difficulty. So I guess we'll start the session. I'll read the bio of Dr. Manjit Kaur on behalf of Lisa Sherman ma'am. Dr. Manjit Kaur Mehar Singh is an associate professor and deputy dean of research, innovation, and industry community engagement at the School of Languages, Literacies, and Translation, Universiti Sains, Malaysia. She completed her BA honors in education, masters in education, and PhD specializing in academic literacies and international students at the University of Science, Malaysia. She started her academic career as a language instructor at the Center of Languages and Translation, USM, in 1996. As a scholar, Dr. Manjit Kaur's field of research interests are wide-ranging, which include language, literacy, multiculturalism, and research in higher education. She is also a member of the editorial board of journals at national and international level. Other than teaching at undergraduate level, she also supervises master's and PhD students. She has also widely presented at international conferences worldwide. For her contribution to the university, Dr. Manjit Kaur was awarded an Excellent Service Award by USM in 2008. As her contribution to the state of Penang, Dr. Manjit Kaur was awarded the PJK Award by the Governor of Penang in 2015. We are extremely honored to have you with us, Dr. Manjit Kaur. Welcome, and we are waiting eagerly for your session. Thank you so much for being with us. Dr. Manjit Kaur. Lisa, ma'am, you can take over now because you were inaudible. I read the bio, ma'am. Please take over.
Okay, Deepti, once again, the same problem. Okay, am I audible now? Am I audible now?
You are quite audible. Yes, ma'am, you're
Okay,
quite
okay,
audible.
okay. So may I now request our chief guest to present your part of main attractive part actually of the session. Over to you, ma'am. Dr. Manjit Kaur.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lisa. Okay, I also would like to take this opportunity to thank TESOL Bangladesh and all those involved in TESOL Bangladesh for inviting me for this session today. Okay, I would like to share my screen to start the session today.
It's visible, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So I was requested by Dr. Fahim actually to talk on something about ESP EAP in Malaysian higher education. So at first I actually did not know what I was going to talk about. So then I thought to myself, I might as well share my experiences in USM, University Sains Malaysia, where I have been attached my whole life until today, ever since I graduated. And also in general, what is ESP and EAP, okay? Because I would like to share on the theoretical aspect of ESP and EAP also, why as a teacher, as a language educator, language instructor, when I first graduated, I also did not have much knowledge about it, okay? How much can you learn in a 4 years degree program, you know, to be able to perform as an ELT educator, like all the visions that Dr. Lisa shared and Dr. Fahim shared, there is a heavy burden on the ELT educators, okay, to ensure that our students are well equipped to enter the job market, okay. So with that, here I would like to share, first of all, some theoretical background information on ESP and EAP, which I'll go on quite quickly, because I think I have quite a lot of slides, and I think I'm given quite limited time, especially when I start talking, I won't stop talking. Okay, so then when I go to the Malaysian higher education institution, I'll be sharing about one institution, that is USM, and another one will be anonymous. Okay. Okay, so I think this is something that language teachers, especially English language teachers, must know. It is very important. Okay, we teach various courses or various programs, like you all have English 101, English 102, and so on. So the teachers, the educators are given the course, okay, you go and teach now. However, do they know the blueprint of the course? Do they know the DNA of the course? What is the course all about? The background information in terms of like the objectives of a particular English language course, whether it is EAP, it is EFP, okay, it is ESP, EGP, EPP, EOP. There are so many terms, okay? And what are the descriptors of each of these terms? These are the issues, okay, that first must be tackled before we go into the practical part of ensuring that teachers are able to perform their role to ensure that they achieve the objectives of an ESP course, of EAP course, okay, so that's very important. The theoretical background, the theoretical readiness of teachers, okay, must be evaluated to see whether they have the knowledge of what is EAP, for example. Okay, a university, for example, desires to start a program, a new course, EAP course, and gets a teacher to prepare the content. Okay, to what extent do teachers, the educators, or the curriculum developers, the content developer, or the module developer go and do needs analysis to find out whether what kind of content is suitable to that target students? Okay, so these are the things that are actually quite lacking. It doesn't matter in any part, of the world. For example, in Bangladesh, even in Malaysia, I would like to share that it is lacking, okay, among the secondary school teachers, the primary school teachers, and also the English language educators in higher education. Okay, so these basic things must be taught to them. Okay, for example, I would really suggest when teachers start their career, they join the profession, okay, in teaching, they are given a refresher course into what are they going to go into and teach. Okay, now let me go into the slides. English for academic purpose, EAP, yeah. Okay, it's a branch of ESPN, also EOP, whereby when we talk about academic, okay, for academic purpose in the context of higher education, okay, is for you to prepare for your academic work. For example, you come a student from the field of, for example, engineering, medical, the sciences, okay, are normally prioritized. What about the one from the arts, social sciences, humanities, mass communication, okay, management? So EAP also caters for all these. Okay, so basically these kind of language courses, EAP based courses, are supposed to provide readiness to the students so that they are able, okay, to tackle, okay, the documents, the notes, the articles, or the content discipline in their area. Okay, they're able to read, understand, identify facts, okay, negotiate ideas, opinions put forward by the writers, the authors. Okay, so it's very, very important. So the focus is on the linguistic demands of academic context and also facilitate the acquisition of academic literacy skills. So EAP's focus is more on reading and writing, okay, basically not speaking. So it's a major area also of research in applied linguistics. Okay, we have the English for academic purpose journal, okay, one of the very reputable and highly indexed journal. Okay, there's a lot of research that's being published on EAP in those journals. Okay, so the main goal of EAP is also to ensure, okay, that students, the learners, are able, okay, or achieve effective communication, especially in terms of writing. Basically for undergraduate students, for their assignments and so on, their test papers, their project reports, and also for those who are doing their postgraduate studies, okay, at their master's and their PhD level, in terms of writing particular chapters of their master's thesis, PhD thesis. So EAP teaches the art of how you write, okay, what kind of language structure that you need to have for your chapter 1 of your thesis, for your chapter 3 of your thesis, okay, how do you communicate your literature review in your thesis, okay, so these are the issues. As for the undergraduate level, okay, we provide EAP services so that they are ready to communicate in writing, in reading for their assessments, okay? Communication, oral communication in their courses in terms of their presentations. So therefore, we have EAP-based courses such as English for management, okay, English for engineering, okay, English for business, and so on. Okay, so the scope is actually in terms of the content, which is normally used in EAP courses, the modules is formal academic genre. Okay, so what we have here is some information on EAP, which I will not go in detail. Okay, so it is actually to prepare students It is ongoing. I will say it's ongoing because it is not only taken by students in their first year or their pre-university, even as they are, progressing into their third year or final years of studies, they still go through EAP courses, okay? And EAP's goal is actually communicative competence, okay, in the context of not only oral, but also written, okay? And its purpose is very much different. The setting is very much different compared to the EGP courses, okay? English for general purpose. Okay, I'm not able to move my slide. Just hold on. I'm having some technical difficulty. I am not able, okay, hold on. Okay. So these are some current trends that I would like to share with you all. And I was also interested by what Dr. Fahim mentioned just now. In the context of Bangladesh, not to focus on globalization, but glocalization. Okay, so basically the current trends, which focuses on study skills, also on general purpose EAP, okay, and also the specific purpose EAP. Okay, so basically, I also quite agree with this trend that we must not only be focused on the specific purpose EAP, but also general purpose EAP, because if you note the latest skills, graduate attributes or skills which are required of graduates, okay, based on the World Economic Forum, communication at workplace is very important. So basically, journal purpose EAP is also very much in demand, okay? And the current trend is also supported by the increasing globalization of higher education, whereby we see the international student mobility, okay, is, how do I say, very active. And recently, due to the COVID pandemic, it has become more active because of the online platform, whereby teaching and learning has been transformed into this remote form, okay, online form, okay. And EAP is also here to stay due to the continuous dominance of English as the language of scientific communication. So it must be prioritized. As you can see, most of the world publications, latest discoveries in many fields, science, technical, the arts, are also widely communicated in English language. Okay, imagine writing in Malay language, which is the national language of Malaysia. Okay, you will not be able to get a wide range of readers worldwide for your work, okay, in terms of publication. Okay, and also the growing pressure on academics, okay, for those like in Malaysia and Bangladesh, because we are the non-native speakers of English. And in the context of Malaysia, English being, I would say, it is not only ESL currently, but also EFL, okay? And in the Bangladesh context, okay, it's known as the EFL in nature. So there's a growing pressure, okay, on us, okay, to publish in English language journals. So the techniques, okay, to how to penetrate into this kind of publication, okay, is where EAP comes in strongly to prepare our students, our graduates, you know, in terms of disseminating their discoveries, okay, their findings in the research that they do in their specific discipline content area. Okay. Okay, so next one, I would like to share some information on ESP. Yeah? Okay, so there are three taxonomies. Okay, these three taxonomies indicates that there are differences among many scholars in how it should be viewed. Okay, so these are some examples that you have. Okay, English for specific purpose, but at the same time, there is an overlap with EAP. Okay, therefore, as I mentioned in my abstract, there is no clear boundary between these two, ESP and EAP, although EAP is branched out of ESP. Okay. So the focus for ESP is more to prepare learners for selected communicative environment based on their majors, okay, their discipline area, and so on. So you're gearing towards becoming a doctor, okay, you're gearing towards becoming a, how do I say, an engineer. So ELT educators, English language teachers, need to look into their communicative needs so that they are able to perform when they graduate, when they're out at the workplace. Okay. So the next taxonomy, okay, says that EOP, okay, and EAP placed as direct branches derived from ESP. Okay, EOP, English for occupational purpose. Okay, they have courses for professional, vocational, pre-work purposes. Okay, so EAP with courses in study programs. Okay, here also you get to see an overlap as the previous slide. You know, let's say you have English for business. Okay, you get a new fresh teacher to go in to teach English for business. Okay, what is the teacher teaching? For academic purpose, for the student to be able to manage his or her studies in the 4 years as a management student, or is it to prepare the student for his working life? Okay, so these are the things that comes in when talking about needs analysis, the content development, okay, the curriculum that is required. Okay, so these are the issues basically which are very, very important for all these different kind of courses, but however are not basically prioritized in developing EAP based courses or EOP based courses, okay, which must be very much looked into. Okay, so the third taxonomy, the last one, is by Brown, 2001. EAP and ESP are two separate types, okay, of programs that we can have. Okay, so EAP is a broad term for courses in pre-academic programs, where the ESP is for courses in professional fields. But again, they are not able to come up with a clear guideline in how this can be differentiated. Okay. So that's why even in the day-to-day teaching, in the classroom teaching, okay, there will be an integration of, okay, EAP paradigm and also the ESP paradigm. Okay, so the EAP instructional approach, okay, basically when you talk about general academic purpose courses, okay, and then you have the specific academic purpose courses. Okay, so again, EAP is further broken down into EGAP and ESAP. Okay, so these again are issues which are very, very much important, okay, to be made known for language educators, English language educators, to be aware of. Okay, what is their goal? Okay, what is their purpose? Okay, when they are in the classroom. Okay, what are the objectives that the students, the learners must achieve when they are in the EAP, EGAP, or in the specific academic purpose course? Okay, so these are the things that must be really clear to them and really clear to the students, especially working students who come in for part-time ESP-based courses, which are EOP, okay, related, okay, to improve their communication for workplace. So it must be clear to them what they can expect and what will be the outcome of that particular course they are enrolled in. Okay, so this is another approach. This is by Wingate, 2012. Okay, genre-based literacy pedagogy, okay, whereby the teaching, how it can take place in a classroom, okay, whereby the teacher assists the student in terms of the deconstruction, okay, deconstructing a text, okay. So based on the deconstruction, the students work together in pairs or teams, you know, to come up with the new product, the joint construction. And later, they are independent, whereby they are able to do the task without support or scaffolding from the teacher or their peers. Okay, this is more relevant for the written component. Okay, especially when you're teaching writing in an EAP course, for example, for process writing. Okay, so engagement, critical thinking are certain skills, elements that you can nurture in the students, because when they are engaging in terms of collaborating with their peers, okay, when the teachers scaffold during the joint construction, okay, and the cycle of deconstruction, okay, they are able to improve on their critical thinking. Okay, so next one, EGP. Okay, your SIG, as was mentioned by the presenters just now, the TESOL Bangladesh officials, is more on EAP and ESP. Okay, however, EGP is also one of the components that should not be sidelined. Okay, we have students coming in with various language background. For example, in Bangladesh, you have students from the madrasa background, the Bengali background, you have students from the English medium, okay? So the language proficiency that they come in with to the university is very much different, okay? So at times, there is need, okay, for EGP-based courses, English for general purpose, okay, to help to assist students to improve with their general proficiency. And the general proficiency normally, for me, starts with proper listening, understanding, okay, comprehension, and speaking. Okay, so the scope of EGP, which is conversational and social genre of the language, okay, is very much important before one can progress to EAP and also ESP. So EGP should not be sidelined and straight away we proceed to EAP. Okay, there's also another issue that should be tackled. Okay, these are some information on the differences between EAP and EOP. Yeah? Okay, familiarization of students with specific discipline conventions, and EOP's preparation of students for their professional workplace setting. I think most of you all are aware of this. Okay. Okay, this is what I mentioned just now, English for business. Okay, so I get a course, I'm a teacher. Okay, so what is the aim that I am going to achieve in the classroom? Okay, is it going to be designed to assist the students in their studies as students of business administration, management students? Okay, or is it to prepare them for their working life? Is it vocationally oriented? Okay, was needs analysis done before the course is prepared? Okay, are the material, do the materials concur with the objectives of the course? Okay, and is the content relevant to prepare them, to assist them to tackle their project, their course assessments in their degree program, or is it for workplace? Okay, so these are, how do I say, the vague areas, okay, that we have that needs to be tackled. Maybe it's a good platform now for the SIG, yeah, a special interest group on ESP and EAP, yeah, to look into this. Okay, okay. Now we come to the Malaysian context. Okay, so in Malaysia, ESP became something very started to grow. okay, in the 1990s, you know, so it's not really like quite old, you know, in Malaysia. Okay, so basically my focus today is going to be on the Malaysian higher education institutions. So this is some background information whereby we have 20 public universities and so on. Okay, just to share with you, even for these 20 public universities, we do not have one proper language policy in terms of guiding ESP and EAP courses development. Okay, it is very silo based, okay, done by individual universities. Okay, so that is one setback where there is vagueness in all the courses which are offered. I will explain to you later. Okay, English language education in Malaysia, okay, like I mentioned just now, we don't have a proper centralized language policy. Okay, previously in 2006 there was a guideline created. So this guideline also influenced English language courses. It became such a hype at that time that language teachers all had to go for this course on development of soft skills. So the language course, English language course, was used for the development of these soft skills, because these soft skills at that time in 2006 were considered very important to develop employable graduates. And if you notice, if you go through the World Economic Forum, okay, the ranking of the skills change from time to time, you know. Okay. So in the context of English language education, among all the 7 skills, these 3 were prioritized, whereby all kind of courses that we have at the higher education level, whether they are EGP based, EAP or ESP, okay, or EOP, okay, we need to make sure they are infused with these soft skills: communication, critical thinking and problem solving, and the third one is teamwork. And English language was considered as a very important tool to disseminate, okay, these soft skills. Okay, so these are the courses that we, the nature or the variety of language courses, English language courses that are offered. Okay, we have the EGP, EOP, and EAP based. Okay, so like I mentioned just now, EGP based courses are very much important because the nature or what we call the level of English language proficiency among Malaysians based on the PISA assessment is not up to the level which can we can say is remarkable. Although if you follow the Braj Kachuru's models, you know, of the circles, inner circle, outer circle, and the expanding circle, okay, Malaysia is placed in the outer circle as one of the countries which was colonized by the British, okay, whereby our education system, our civil service is very much influenced by the British system. But in terms of the communicative competence in English language today is something which deserves more attention. Okay. Okay, so this is the current situation. We have quality teaching, whereby quality teaching in terms of teacher education, okay, for higher education, in terms of teacher education, the teachers for English language teaching are well trained in the specialized area of English language. And in terms of qualification, you have many with postgraduate qualification at master's level, PhD level. And learning environment is also conducive. Okay. However, it is something which is puzzling. Why the decline of English language proficiency among the Malaysian university graduates is something that is still is untackleable. Okay, we are not able to tackle it, that it still persists. Okay, and furthermore, many scholars, many studies have been done, okay, that indicate until today there is a mismatch, okay, in terms of what the employers expect in English language communication. Okay, they do not lack, the students, the graduates, they lack confidence in English language communication skills, especially speaking and also writing. Okay, recently I conducted a study on my students. I'm teaching one undergraduate course whereby it is known as English for Professionals. Okay, so these undergraduates are during their third year, second year. At the end of the second year, they will go for a 2 months internship, industrial training. Okay, so I gathered some feedback from these students to find out the adequacy, okay, of the program in preparing them for workplace readiness. It was found that they still desired more in terms of writing and speaking. Okay, so one of the reasons why there's a decline, because English language courses, especially the EAP and the EOP based, are not prioritized. Okay, the discipline knowledge courses are prioritized. Okay, and one of the setback is also the English language courses are designed by the language instructors who are not very well equipped, okay, with the knowledge of curriculum development, of content design. Okay. Next one, there's no alignment with proper English language policy guidelines, which actually do not exist. Okay. So my question here is, like I mentioned earlier, I've been stressing this many times, needs analysis is always sidelined, is always ignored, okay, when it comes to designing a course, okay, creating the objectives of the course, the learning outcomes, okay. We are not, how do I say, geared towards OBE, outcome-based education. Outcome-based education is more prioritized for the discipline knowledge, for example, engineering, okay, the courses or the programs which are attached to professional bodies, okay, like the engineering board, the medical board, okay, so they are more outcome-based education. So it is time now, I think, that we should go for outcome-based education. Okay, so the chairperson, Miss Dipti, please let me know if my time is up or whatsoever. Okay, so I would like to introduce you all.
Of course, I'll let you know.
Okay, about MUE. Okay, we call it the Malaysian University Entrance Test or English Test. Okay, so this test is very important for entry into the university. Okay, this test is normally done by the pre-university students for entry into tertiary education. So this test will decide whether they will go into what level, okay, what level of English course will they take. Okay, I'm not telling you, I'm not going to describe that, okay, if you're lower level band, you go for EGP. Okay, that is also another issue that needs to be tackled later. Okay, so this test is pre-university entrance test. It was introduced in Malaysia in 1999. Okay, it will test students on the 4 skills: language skills, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay, and recently the test has been rebranded, okay, to make it more aligned to the current trends. So these are the bands that the students will achieve: band 1 to band 5 plus. I've indicated band 6 there because this has been rebranded. Previously, after band 5 was band 6. So after the rebranding now, recent rebranding, we do not have band 6, it's band 5 plus. So you have band 1, the basic users, and band 5 are the proficient users. Okay, so you have 2 bands categorized under one category, 1 and 2 as basic. We have the independent and proficient. Okay, why has it been rebranded now? Because it's aligned to CEFR. Okay, I'll come to that later. Okay, so CEFR, I'm not very sure whether how CEFR has gained momentum in Bangladesh, in the TESOL education in Bangladesh. But in Malaysia now, we are gearing towards CEFR, okay, in relation to our English language roadmap, okay, whereby all the language, program or language education, whether at primary school level, secondary school, or higher education, is aligned to CEFR. Okay, so it is an international standard for describing language proficiency. Okay, so it's not a program, it's not an approach, it's actually to measure your proficiency. Okay, so what I want to highlight here, to achieve mastery in any course, okay, you need to have this many hours, 600 to 800 structured hours to achieve mastery at any level. Okay, I'll come back to this slide later. I'll go to the next slide. Okay, these are, okay, I mentioned here the scales. So these are the scales, you know, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Okay, so it does not only measure the language proficiency, at the same time, it also identifies your proficiency according to the skills: receptive, productive, and interactive. Okay, and one good point about CFR is it also looks into the sociolinguistic and pragmatic competence. Okay, and the CFR descriptors also are very useful, okay, as reference for development of academic material. Okay, your course book, your module, and so on. So all EAP, ESP courses are currently being aligned to CFR in Malaysian higher education, as we need to start offering the newly aligned courses, okay, aligned courses to CFR to the next incoming batch of students. Okay, so these are the scales for CFR. You have the basic users, independent users, and the proficient users. For English language teachers in Malaysia, okay, it is required for them to have a proficiency of C2. Okay, and for university student, it is desirable. Okay, it's not compulsory. Okay, it is very much desired if the students can graduate from the university at a B2 level, okay, as an independent user. Okay, so I would like to share.
Dr. Manjit Kaur, you
Yes.
may take 5 minutes more.
Okay, okay. So let me just share with you the first case study. I think I will not be able to share the second case study. This is USM before CFR. Okay, so we have EGP, ESP, EAP, and EOP courses. Okay, basically these courses are categorized under all these categories. However, when you go back to learn the history, when these courses started, okay, based on what foundation were these courses created in terms of the curriculum, syllabus, okay, was any needs analysis done among the students, among the faculties, from where the students come? Okay, there is none available. It's just a matter of categorization of the courses, okay, according to the categories. However, with the introduction of CFR, we see a lot of improvement now, whereby I would like to share with you with the table. Okay, this is where I'm attached to the School of Languages, Literacies and Translation. We serve the whole university. All the university students from various fields will congregate at this school, at this faculty, for their English language courses. Okay, so this is what we have now. Okay, what happens is the courses are now more, how do I say, organized. Okay, you will be able to identify whether it is a EGP course or EAP course or an EOP course. Okay, so because they are aligned to CEFR. Okay, and also we are now very much oriented towards outcome-based learning, which was previously more catered to those from the science fields and also those who are the programs like engineering and medical, which are attached to professional bodies. So English language courses now, whether they are EGP or EAP, are also becoming outcome based. Okay, we are working towards outcome based education, whereby everything is very structured. Okay, in terms of the curriculum, the syllabus, the topics, the assessments. Okay, I will share with you later. I'll go to that now. Okay. So all these components of the syllabus are now of the EAP, EGP, or EOP courses at USM are outcome-based education courses. Okay, so the syllabus stress on all these items. Okay. Then in terms of instructional planning for the EAP, EOP, and EGP courses, okay, so we outline which are very much guided by outcome-based education. Okay, so I will skip this slide. Okay, since the time is limited, even the grading descriptors, okay, for all the courses, whether it's EGP based or academic based or occupational based, we focus on all because they are aligned to CEFR. So you can get to see here, we also bring in socio-linguistic competence and pragmatic competence in the EAP, EGP, and EOP courses. Okay, so this is the other case study which I will skip. Okay, I would like to go to this now, the future trend. Okay, so this is what is very important now. Maybe the special interest group, TESOL Bangladesh, can also consider this. To position the English language courses within the academic discipline, EAP educators, English language educators, cannot work in silo. We need to work with the academics, with the researchers in those academic fields. That is one very important. We cannot be separated. Okay, we are language educators, English language educators. Okay, we have nothing to do with those who are teaching in engineering, in the humanities, in the social sciences. So we need to position our language courses within the academic discipline. That's very important. And we need to be aware of the accreditation requirement of the professional bodies, okay, of our students. Okay, they're going to graduate, they're going to have professional recognition from their bodies. So what is the role of EAP in that? Okay, and also we need to position our English language educators beyond their expertise. Okay, and just now Dr. Fahim, I think he mentioned students are not motivated in learning. Okay, how do you manage students' needs, language needs, and motivation? That's also an area that needs to be looked into. Okay, the last one is reframing ESP education. Reframing education, ESP education, I have quoted from the EAP journal, okay, which is very much relevant to all of us, okay, which was also brought up by Dr. Liza just now, Dr. Fahim, in terms of tackling the language classroom, the practicality, the methodology, the education is very important. That is the core which I feel is lacking at the moment, and also looking at the assessment aspect. And another important one is needs analysis. Okay, Ms. Dipti, I'm done. Thank you very much for reminding me of the time just now.
Oh, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation and providing us with the entire landscape of ESP, EAP, EGP, and also contextualizing it in the context of Malaysia. It was very interesting, and I hope that we can invite you again with a large amount of time, and we can discuss all of the things again.
Thank you very much.
I hope you will join us again.
Yes,
thank you so much. Okay, so now it's time for our second session of the evening, and for conducting this second session, ESP in Bangladesh Challenges and Opportunities, we have with us Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman, and this session is going to be moderated by Dr. Fahim Shahid. Dr. Fahim Shahid.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Dipti. So we had already a wonderful session by Professor Manjit Kaur, and she enlightened us regarding the Malaysian context. So now we have Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman, one of the most renowned personalities in the field of ELT and applied linguistics in Bangladesh. He will be actually presenting on ESP in Bangladesh, the challenges and the opportunities. So before he presents, may I have the pleasure to introduce him a bit. Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman was born in 1948. He completed his BA honors in 1968 and MA in English in 1969 from Rajshahi University. Mr. Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman worked at the government BL College, Daulatpur, Khulna, and Ananda Mohan Government College, Mymensingh. He has a diploma in teaching English overseas from University of Leeds School of Education in 1977, and M.Ed with teaching English as a foreign language from University of Wales Institute of Science and Technology in 1978. He joined Institute of Modern Languages, Dhaka University in 1979 and retired as a professor of English in 2014. Professor Rahman joined Daffodil International University as Professor of English and Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences in 2015. He worked as Supernumerary Professor of English at IML, Dhaka University after his retirement for 2 years. He is now also working there as an Honorary Professor of English. Professor Hamidur Rahman has attended numerous workshops and seminars on ELT and has presented papers home and abroad. He has contributed to the development of ELT at all levels of education in Bangladesh by being involved in syllabus design, writing of textbooks, training of teachers for NCTB and UGC. He has also published research articles and journals in books, both nationally and internationally. So let us now please welcome Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman, the special guest of today's occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Fahim. I'm having difficulty in sharing my screen, so somebody will have to do it from. Thank you for the introduction. In fact, my presentation will be a case study of Bangladesh. I'll have to wait for 2 minutes because the azan has started. So, right, so hold it there. Thank you all. I'm going to start again, and I thank Dr. Manjit Kaur for her excellent presentation. I'm updated about ESP situation in Malaysia because I remember after I joined the Institute, the director of the ESP curriculum unit there, and I had the opportunity to visit University of Malaya in 1985. They had a ESP unit there. Maybe it's still there. I don't know anything much about it, but from Dr. Manjit Kaur's presentation, we have come to know about recent developments in ESP in Malaysia. Thank you for that. I'm going to present to you our experience of teaching or introducing ESP in Bangladesh. And could I have the next slide, please? Or can you continue? Right. So, okay. So challenges in general about English language teaching in our country, similar to Malaysia. We were also a colony of United Kingdom, and then gradually we lost 95% of university level science and technology textbooks are in English. And departmental teachers are preoccupied with their own specialization, and they have little time to pay attention to the needs of language needs of the learners. Okay, right. So, but in the foreseeable future, students in this discipline must be able to read textbooks and research journals in English, communicate with professionals in other countries through the medium of English. Yeah, can you roll, please? And English teaching, you see, let us look at the history a little bit. An English language teaching task force was uh, put into operation in 1975 after the independence of Bangladesh. And they looked at the English language proficiency of class 12 students, and they're found to be at least 4 years below the assumed standard in the English language textbook. And the ESP curriculum unit where I worked, and in 1981, we also made a survey, and first year students of Dhaka University were at instructional level of class 8 English textbook, and the real leading level was class 7 standard. So expectations and realism didn't match, and students were not able to read basic original text in English to gather information or ideas from them. Right. So, but let's go back to attempts made in this field. And in January 1976, a British Council seconded Mr. Clive Taylor to UGC as an advisor and organized a 6-month training course for English teachers from 4 general universities, discussed the possibility of starting ESP, but it didn't start at the time. It started, and the possibility started in October 1977. And British Council said Mr. Patrick Early to assess the feasibility of starting ESP courses, and he suggested that it should be selectively introduced in response to specific requests from university faculty. And that was the beginning. And in December 1977, ESP curriculum unit was set up at institute where I worked, of Dhaka University, by UGC for designing ESP courses and training of teachers. Next, please. Can you roll? Can you roll the slides? Or are you stuck? Okay. Okay. So, in 1978, the British Council recruited 2 Killed officers, Kevin and Rosalind McGinley, and they mounted a nine-month training. But after that, please keep rolling on. And after that, you see, Dr. Michael Dobbin, another expert, joined a 3rd Killed officer. They visited universities to advise on the implementation of the ESP project. Please roll. And the purpose was to gain support from the universities for introducing these courses. But the problem is, you see, the effort was nipped in the bud, to say, because you see, out of 14 teachers trained by the Kevin Lays and Michael Dobbin, 13 of them left Bangladesh for jobs in Middle East because they became so marketable because of their training in ESP. I was the only person trying to hold the fort at Institute of Modern Languages. Next slide, please. And as a part of damage limitation, we had 2 plans. One was to train the science the teachers to teach ESP, and but it was shelved because the science teachers didn't volunteer. And later on, we thought about introducing ESP by correspondence, but it was also had to be dropped because less from university departments. Thanks. Okay, so skilled officers left the country one by one, and we are back to square one. So we try to continue the ESP courses, but one thing that we noticed, students were in general not very interested in doing ESP courses. They rather wanted EGP courses, for English for communication type of courses. So gradually we had to stop such courses, offering the ESP courses. Right, new efforts, right. Okay, then something happened in early 2012. UGC signed an MOU with British Council to try to reintroduce EAP, ESP type of courses. And first of all, there was a needs analysis survey in July 2012. Keep rolling. And there questionnaire for students, questionnaire for teachers, questionnaire for subject teachers, English teachers, FGD with students and teachers. lesson observation. We visited universities to observe lessons taught by subject teachers. And we have two UK consultants there. One is Dr. Jim Donahue of Open University UK. Another was Dr. Chris Tribble from King's College London for the purpose here. Keep rolling. And Bangladeshi consultant, I myself the team leader, and we had Professor Dr. Saidur Rahman as a member, and also Mr. Kamrul Hasan Chaudhry as a member, and Hamidul Haq also as a member. And you see the please see that. And the participating university, the State University of Bangladesh, University of Liberal Arts, keep rolling, American International University, Hamid's University, and University, Jahangirnagar University, Khulna University, 11 universities in total. Also, Kuwait, Khulna University Engineering, Shahjalan University, and BAU, Bangladesh Agriculture University, Manjit. So also colleges. Major findings, tertiary level. Teaching learning based on a commonly practiced transmission model, sort of lecture model, sort of giving lecture, transmitting knowledge. Okay. And classes are teacher-centered, and some opportunities for students to respond to teacher questioning, but little or no opportunity for student-student interaction. So classes were not interactive or communicative the way we wish them to be. Classes at private universities almost exclusively delivered. Now this is a difference. In the private universities, the medium of instruction was mainly English, but in the public universities, there's a mixture of mother tongue and English. Right. And it means that students could ask questions in Bangla, and at some time lecturers could explain points in Bengali. So there's a mixed medium here. Okay, and the private public universities, you can see the difference here. And the colleges had less physical amenities, and class size is an issue, and English, but English was needed for studies. But books are mainly in English. Doing well in exam, getting good grades, and accessing information from the internet, and English was needed for these purposes. And still, it remains to be so. Almost all textbooks. Okay, student develop coping strategies to work between English and Bengali. That's just keep on rolling. I'll be quick. Right. They learn to listen to lectures in English, ask for explanation in Bengali when their comprehension of English is not so good. Students reported their greatest difficulty to be in speaking English. Oral communication was the problem. There appeared to be 4 main speaking situations where students could use English but may use Bengali, and these were okay. Roll. Asking questions to the teacher, answering questions from the teacher, taking part in group discussions, and giving presentations. Okay, these are the 4 main areas they needed to use English. Most departments have compulsory English language credit courses like English 101 or 102 you were talking about, which students do in the first year of the study. In some universities, these are non-credit courses, and that is a problem. In focus groups, students expose dissatisfaction about these courses because they are irregular and repetitive of SSC and HSC course content. They are not communicative or interactive in nature. Okay, students are often demotivated by grammar-based courses of some universities, which they find it unhelpful in learning communicative English. Comprehension of lectures in English problematic in all institutions, although students in some private universities seem to adjust more easily than those in other universities. Students generally don't like the fact that they're not speaking in English when they're expected to do so. They would like to, but they're either shy or feel they lack the vocabulary. Now, this was the situation we're talking about to 2012. It may have improved in some cases, particularly private universities, but I'm not sure to what extent. A new research is needed. Sometimes anxious about correctness of their grammar, as a result, they use Bengali. Next. Please roll. Comprehension of lectures in English problematic in all institutions. Oh, we have talked about it. Can you have the next slide, please? Students in general develop a strategy for operating by memorization and reproduction to earn a grade. So this is a usual situation with most students, in fact. Next, please. Reading text with comprehension. Okay, so key recommendation. Priority should be given to the production of, so that was the recommendation of the needs analysis survey, or priority should be given to production of a professional development module for all teachers, both for subject teachers and English teachers. And this is the PD module, and they gave much importance to it, because unless we teach the teaching, learning, methodology, or pedagogy, nothing can change really. This PD module will help develop a pedagogic context into which the other modules can be introduced with greater chance of success. The PD module should be designed to bring together subject and English language teachers to reflect on, investigate, and develop the learning and teaching cultures of the universities and the role of English in that culture. And the key recommendations about English for EAP courses, the two modules are others. There's a typo there. EAP 1, general module focused on formal spoken interaction, reading and writing, and EAP 2, essay and report writing module focused on formal writing, reading, discussion, and presentation skills. Key recommendation: English for employment. Another module, 4 modules. The 4th module is English for employment purposes or employability. Develop an understanding of the work, because after passing out for the university, they need to look for jobs, and even within Bangladesh, if you go for a corporate job, your English knowledge is, communication skills is tested. So this course should be offered to final year students after they have taken final exams and are in the process of applying for work. So that was the plan. Right. So master trainer, in order to roll out this module, implement this scheme, there's a plan to train master trainers who teach each of the English modules, train other colleagues to teach them, and deliver the PD module. As master trainers should include authors who would also be work as master trainers. Right. Very briefly, content of EAP 1, listening and speaking. You can see very quickly, listening for main ideas, taking notes, summarizing, formulating definition, giving example, comparing and contrasting, exchanging opinions, debating an issue. Carry on. That EAP 1, mainly focused on listening and speaking here. Delivering a presentation, taking part in a discussion. Next, please. Okay, reading, scanning, skimming. Carry on. Identifying main ideas, supporting details.
Sir, on the slide, it says note taking and summarizing, understanding and analyzing text patterns, cause and effect.
You carry on. You continue there, right? Okay.
Sir,
Right.
can you see the changes in the
I can
slides
see
now?
on mobile. Okay. Writing
Of course,
definitions,
sir.
examples, writing about similarities and differences using comparative structures. Okay. And then roll, please roll. Writing cause and effect paragraphs, writing an argumentative paragraph, writing short essays on different topics, grammar and vocabulary. This was also not ignored because a lot of students had problems with basic grammar things. So some vocabulary and or grammatical competence was also cared for. You can keep on rolling. Right. Okay. Right. So some basic structural things included in that section. Also, critical thinking, making sense of information, ranking ideas, evaluating arguments, and understanding causal chains, generalizing, distinguishing between fact and opinion, justifying opinions, understanding, analyzing, and synthesizing texts. And contents of EAP 2, investigating and gathering ideas, combining and organizing ideas, developing focus, and supporting ideas with evidence, integrating data and graphics into text, drafting, revising, evaluating, comparison, contrast, cause and effect, argumentation, writing book and article reviews, writing for presentations and examinations. Okay. For English for employability, importance in getting job applications, conversation skills for job interviews, writing business letters, writing minutes of business meeting. Okay, managing large classes, differentiating. This is professional development module. Acts of teaching and modes of delivery, reflective teaching practice, development of communication and interaction in the classroom, managing large classes, theories and practice of learning, medium of instruction in higher education, classroom task and task-based learning, assessing learners and giving feedback, effective lecture presentation and delivering a lesson, designing effective assignments, research and action research on the part of the teacher. And the writers of the module, Hamidur of AIUB and Shaikhus Salehin, he is in Canada now, he was at ELU, Munjurul Alam of Chittagong University, English for academic purposes, Kumrul Hassan, Mustafizur Rahman, and then English for employability, Farhin Hassan, Mithila Mahfouz, Sajidul Haq, he's in Thailand now, professional development module, Dr. Saidur Rahman, and myself. So these are the 4 modules that were written, and among the consultants from Canterbury Christchurch University in UK, Kevin Balchin, Mark Ammond, and Graham Thompson, and also Carol Wilde and Richard Cullen, the team leader from their side. And all the departments, these were materials are tried out in the participating universities, the same universities that we first went for visit and observation, and colleges, and these material, and then these are finalized and printed. So hold it there. The trial materials have been finalized based on observation of classroom teaching and materials, both UK and Bangladeshi consultant, and feedback from teachers and students. Please roll. But unfortunately, what has happened, the 3 modules reported to have been printed by UGC, but they have not been rolled out. They need to be rolled out for the benefit of tertiary level learners, and particularly after the pandemic. When the pandemic started, the whole thing has come to a stop. The PD module needs to be printed immediately. That was not printed. Other 3 modules have been printed as orientation of teachers who wish to use the 3 main modules they need this training. So master trainers need to be trained in order to implement the project. Next, please. But one of the things, you see, it looks like that the UGC is not acting very efficiently on this, but there's some interesting things. If you can go to the next slide, please. Okay.
So should I roll back to the next slide?
Okay, next slide. Right, I'm reading it out, so try to put it on. After the printing of the 3 modules, they are reported to be lying with UGC for more than a year. I mean, I'm talking about the beginning of 2019 or before that. Queries have been made, but nobody seems to know when and how these materials will be made available to the student. Meanwhile, English for academic purposes seems to be available from Amazon.com, although UGC has the copyright for the books. Academic purposes too seems to be available from available from Book Read Easy on credit card payment, and I'll show you pictures of that. And this is the first one, English for academic EAP 1. Okay, if you can roll the next slide, please. Okay, I have talked about this thing. Next slide, please. Right, this is the second one, or I can't see it on the screen of the laptop. Okay, that's EAP 1. That is EAP 1. Okay, right, you can Google it. And English for Academics 2 is also available from international, online booksellers, etc. But this is the thing. I think this is. I would like to conclude by saying that, you see, this was an attempt to introduce ESP or EAP in our country again. But although the UGC and the both British Council involved, the thing is that it has not been rolled out. It's possible to roll it out. I mean, even during the pandemic, because the UGC has soft copies of the book, so it can be rolled out online, in fact. But teachers need orientation. I think you see TESOL BD ESP SIG, and we can go and approach University Grants Commission when this pandemic becomes a situation become a bit easier.
Of
talk
course.
to
Sir,
them.
we want to see your face. Sir, can you put the camera in front of your face?
Okay.
Yes, because that talk is so interesting, and when we see your face, we feel more engaged. Please, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry about the problem with the computer presentation here.
It's absolutely all right. I think all of the participants have already faced these kind of problems, and that's where teamwork comes, and TESOL BD stands for that kind of teamwork. So thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction to the works that have been already done in Bangladesh in the field of ESP EAP, because we did not, at least personally, I was not familiar with it. And I think that yes, sir.
Just let me add that, you see, at Daffodil University and other participating universities, part of EAP 1 and 2, these are being used by teachers for teaching English 1 or English 2 courses.
Yes, sir. And I definitely, maybe because of the pandemic, I do believe that British Council and UGC will make efforts to circulate all of the findings and to us. So thank you so much, sir. And I would actually thank both of our guests for such wonderful introduction to ESP, GP, and EAP. But now I have actually questions from the eager audience. So for both of the guests, I would like to ask the questions to you. One of the questions is from Fazli Rabbi, and the question actually I will answer. Can you get the record of today's session? And of course, it will be available on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to keep updated with all of our activities. That will be my suggestion. Now, the next question is very interesting. This is from Zareen Tasneem. Are online courses enough for providing good assistance in learning EAP, ESP, or EGP? I think this question is very much relevant to the time. So I ask this question to both of our guests, Dr. Manjit Kaur and Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman. What do you think?
Dr. Manjit Kaur, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure, Prof. Okay, I'll go first. Okay, thank you very much for the question. Yes, the question is very, very relevant today. Okay, in relation to the question, a lot of studies are also being done today to find out students' satisfaction, students' perception, then the effectiveness of online learning or remote learning, especially in the context of English language learning. Okay, when the pandemic first started in 2020, early 2020, I think the language teachers also were faced with a lot of challenges in accommodating their teaching, and also for the students to get, acculturated to learning online. And as time passed by, it's already more than 1 year. Okay, what I can see among our students, okay, many students, majority are settled in. Okay, learning is taking place as regular, but we cannot deny there are restrictions, especially when it comes with certain communicative competence, such as speaking. Okay, whereby it can be very, how do I say, not visible in online teaching. Okay, the normal issues that we face, like for example in Malaysia now, here, students do not on their cameras. Students do not wish to communicate online when they're called. There's Wi-Fi problems. Okay, many issues, technical issues, issues in terms of having gadgets. Okay, many issues. So for communicative competence, especially speaking, it is a setback. Okay. However, in the context of reading and writing, it is much more, can be accommodated. Online learning can be accommodated. And for the future, it is going to become a new norm whereby you have a hybrid context, a hybrid environment, whereby online learning will be combined with face-to-face, in terms of the composition, which one will be heavily weighted, whether it's online or whether it's face-to-face. But online learning or remote learning is here to stay. So as language teachers, we need to adapt and try to make the best out of it for our students. Okay, that's all from me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kaur. And I'd like to ask whether Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman would like to add something. Sir, would you like to add something?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we do not know when this pandemic will go away and whether after this another pandemic will come. So we have to get used to this new normal sort of hybrid situation or teaching online quite a lot. But our teachers are adapting themselves and they are using different apps like Jamboard for interactive classroom or Kahoot for quizzes or things like that. I mean, it is not as efficient as face-to-face teaching or supervision like that. But I think in the end, we'll have to try and to, it doesn't matter whether it's a ESP or EAP or general English course or listening or speaking course, all over the world, we are now teaching online. So we are gaining experience, we are gaining confidence. And I mean, it has some advantages too. I mean, I can see that the amount of materials that I can give students now in the face-to-face situation, it was not possible. And it is possible to have communication and interaction with learners online too. And the necessity is to find out how and to try to implement it. Thank you.
Can I just add a little bit?
Of course.
Of
course.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
So I would like to say this, that, the problem is not with the modality. There are so many other challenges that we are facing. In a country like Bangladesh, we were not familiar with online teaching learning before the pandemic. And our students have lots of issues like, accessibility issues, internet issues, and then electricity issues. So those are big barriers for us. If we can overcome those, then I think the situation will be improved. And in terms of online teaching, it can be equally effective. I can say that from my personal experience. I specialize in online teaching as well. And when I was pursuing my PhD in the US, I took several courses online. And I realized that those courses were much better than the face-to-face courses that I took, even at Warner School at my University of Rochester. And so it was done well. The teachers were trained, they were prepared, the students were prepared, and they didn't have the kind of challenges that we face here in Bangladesh. So I see how my colleagues, my students, and colleagues not from my university only, University of Liberal Arts, so from other universities also, how they are embracing it, how they're trying their best, to learn that use of technology and how to make the classes interactive and effective. So I think we will be there, but we probably need a little bit more infrastructural kind of support from the government, from policymakers. Even I think, the internet providers in Bangladesh, they could have done much better. They could have offered free services to the students for, in terms of having internet, using internet in their cell phone to access the classes. But I haven't seen anybody really doing anything for the students, especially the private telephone operators. They could do better to support our students, which I saw in the US. I came back to Bangladesh during the pandemic. I was there for quite some time during the pandemic, and I saw how different organizations in the US were supporting students with laptops, with the internet facilities, with other kind of services. So I think it's time for us to think about those things and be prepared, as our two guests were saying, that we are getting there and we are doing our best, and it's going to be there. Online teaching, even if we return to our campus, it's going to be there, and we can probably think of the affordances and take the opportunity of teaching online as well, because there are, I think, a huge number of students who will benefit from online teaching learning as well.
I think you said rightly these things. We better get used to it and try to implement it and use it as efficiently as we can, because this pandemic is not over yet, and we do not know what will come next.
Well, we actually have some other questions as well. Thank you so much, Professor Hamidur Rahman, Dr. Manjit Kaur, and Dr. Saida Farzana Hafsa for your insightful answer. But we do have other questions, and the next question is actually quite elaborate. How do we design a based course, EAP ESP based course? And this question is from Rabu Ranjit. So I guess it's not something that we can answer in one session. So at least, would you like to say something that
very briefly?
Yes, very briefly.
Dr. Kaur has explained it, and I have also given example. You have to do a proper needs analysis, what the student, the learners need, and you have to design his course to fulfill their needs. But today you have to make the lessons interesting, enjoyable, communicative, interactive, so that they want to learn, they want to enjoy.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Kaur, would you like to add something to it, or?
Okay, I very much agree with Prof. Okay, basically, first of all educators, course designers, curriculum developers need to embrace, need to understand clearly, okay, what is EAP, what is the ideology behind EAP, ESP. Only with that understanding we can move forward, not start the journey halfway and not know the background. of what actually entails EAP and ESP. Okay, these are the things that must be made clear to all educators, course developers, designers, and so on. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kaur and Professor Hamidur Rahman. We are going to take our last question because we are already behind schedule. And the question comes from Dr. Lisa Sherman, ma'am, and she's going to ask in person. Dr. Lisa Sherman, ma'am, as you informed us that you have a question.
Yes, thank you very much for such a profound research-based presentation to both of our chief speaker and a special speaker. My question to both of you, as you have brought the utterance of industry-academia collaboration. So in EAP and ESP, we have found that while assessing the needs, we usually visit the probable future working places of the learners. Does it go very much to meet the OBE-based learning? What do you think, ma'am and sir?
Okay, Dr. Kaur.
Thank you very much, Professor. Okay. Basically, I was not very much familiar with what was OBE before this, but the last 2 years in USM, we have been restructuring our English language courses, okay, based on the outcome base. So we have the structures, the guidelines, all kind of rubrics for planning, creating objectives, program outcomes, course outcomes, assessments, content. So if you ask me, yes, I think it is something very relevant today. So we have a direction, okay? We have something to achieve when it's outcome based. So, you know, there is something that I need to achieve in the context of, let's say, EAP, yeah? Okay, there's something that my students must be able to achieve, and I have to guide them in achieving that, okay? And I think what I understood by Dr. Lisa's question is visiting the workplaces of the students. Yes, so that is where the collaboration between university industry is very much important, very important. We need to get feedback from the industry. What is their expectation? What do they want out of the students? What is happening in the industry? We cannot be working in silo individually and just preparing our students based on what we think industry wants. We have to communicate with them, to get them to come in, to have team lectures with them, to have them come in as consultants, okay, to guide us. This is what we expect of our students. Can you prepare them towards this? Okay, so this is what we need. Collaboration with the industry to ensure that we are able to produce graduates that meet their expectations. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very well said. I have nothing more to add except that we have a responsibility to make our graduates marketable, and otherwise it will never succeed. So that's the answer. I think I agree, totally agree with her.
Thank you so much. I know that our audience have a lot more questions, but unfortunately, due to time restrictions, we cannot take all the questions from you, but we will have such sessions again. So we have actually reached the end of our program, and now I would like to ask Dr. Lisa Sherman, ma'am, to convey the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rahman. Actually, my thirst was to go much ahead for more time. Well, we need to conclude. At first, I'd like to convey my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Professor Dr. Saidur Rahman, President, TESOL Society of Bangladesh. I'm very grateful to him for really where the EAP and ESP practitioners will come and they can have the chance to actually research for the domain-specific learners. Thank you very much, sir. I am thankful to Mr. Hamidur, Vice President of TESOL Society of Bangladesh and the SIG coordinator. Sir has taken initiatives to actually patronize all those SIGs, and with such patronization, we have already started the programs of our SIG, and we are dreaming to go much ahead with all of us, the practitioners of EAP and ESP. I'm thankful to our General Secretary, Dr. Sayeda Farzana Hafsa. I'd like to thank our such profound and informative information regarding the general scenario and the scenario common in Malaysia. It will give us much insight, actually, and I'm grateful to her for embedding some sort of soft skill which are indispensable, actually, to go for our students to go ahead. So I have taken away the terms soft skill as through practicing English as well, which will be embedded in my thought as well. Thank you very much, ma'am. And our special thanks to our professor, special guest, Professor A.M.M. Hamidur Rahman. Sir, we are very much grateful to you for your precious time. And we all have come to know about the whole history of the practice of EAP and ESP in the context of Bangladesh. And I was surprised to see that all the practitioners related to this stream, we have got all of you here. Hamidul Haq sir, our Saidur Rahman sir, you and all other colleagues who are actually struggling to making English language learning and teaching and learning actually effective to the students of the tertiary level learning in the universities of Bangladesh. We are grateful to you, sir. And I'm grateful to Dr. Fahim Hassan Shahid and A.M. Atikur Rahman for working relentlessly for our SIG. I'd like to express my gratitude to Ms. Dipti Rahman, Mr. Akibur Rahman Khan, Ms. Sherman Sultana Rima, Ms. Nusratara Oishi for their support and hard work. Last but not least, all the audience we have today with us, and I'm actually seeking your blessing and good wishes to go a long way, because EAP, EAP, and ESP will be the way towards English teaching and learning effectively ahead. This will be the futurity of teaching effectively of English language teaching towards particularly the learners of domain-specific areas of tertiary level. And I wish all the practitioners will be more research-worthy, more specific in their learning, as they are already very laboriously contributing to pave the way, and the methodical training and more study and research will make them more innovative and more practical in teaching the students of tertiary level. I'm grateful to all of you for your precious time. And with this inspiration, we'd like to conclude the session today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. I have just one thing to ask Dr. Kaur. Do you happen to know one of my former student, Takad Ahmed? He's doing a PhD with Dr. Kabilan. Have you come across him?
Yes, I have met him before. He's here in USM. He's in the School of Educational Studies under Professor Kabilan.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I think it would be a good idea to invite Professor Kabilan in future, because he's a very respectable ELT
Sir,
professionals?
I'd like to give you one information for the inauguration of our educational technology SIG. We have Dr. Kabilan. We will have
Oh,
Dr. Kabilan with us on 28th July. And the
that is
convener,
very good.
Dr. Saida Farzana Hafsa, has a big smile on her face. I can see it from here. But now this is the time to make memories. I will ask all of the audience who are still here to please turn on your cameras and let's all say cheese for a beautiful photo. Can we all do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, please everyone turn on your cameras. And Akib, I would request Akib to take our photo.
Sure, Apu. Just 1 minute.
Okay. Please everyone, don't be shy. Okay, say cheese.
Done? Is it over?
Akib, have you taken the photos?
Yeah, Apu, it's done. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you so much to all the guests, all the members of TESOL Society of Bangladesh, and all the people who joined us today. And with wishing best of luck to the EAP and ESP SIG of TESOL Society of Bangladesh, I'd like to conclude the program. Thank you so much.